Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge. It's Talking Habs pregame show before every Montreal Canadiens hockey game preview, lineups, the Guess the Score contest, good hockey talk, and more. Get your questions ready with your host, Rick Seligman. Go Habs, go! Hey everybody, we got a game tonight. We also got big news in Montreal Canadiens universe, and that's a new GM. The GM has been announced, and that GM is, I'm going to show them to you. So first of all, Kent Hughes has been announced as the new general manager of the Montreal Canadiens. And this is a look at him. And hey, he's bald. Gotta like that. You gotta like a bald guy. So we got a new GM, and interesting, because I've said this since the name Kent Hughes was out there. I said, I don't know how they're going to sell that after naming Jeff Gorton, then have another English name. And guess what? I was right, because it's already happening. This is from Jared Book. I believe he's a writer. Text from an Anglophone friend after the Canadiens GM hiring. Some of the comments online do not make me feel welcome here. We're about to find out what the language debate was really about. Part of the loudest screams will show it was never about language, but who you are and what your name is. And this is just the truth. There's a lot of questions. I saw one guy questioning, does they know he speaks French, but does his 3 kids speak French? Like, that means anything? And things like that. And it's typical here in Quebec. And of course, I was right. It's going to be a tough sell as far as the name. It'll take a while, I guess, till everybody gets adjusted to them. They say, well, winning changes everything. But you know what? I don't see the Habs being winners for a couple of years. So I don't know how this is going to go. But I think it was a good hire. I think he's going to do a great job. And I nothing wrong with Kent Hughes. I think he was exactly what they were looking for, that Jeff Gorton mentioned in his press conference when he got hired. And I think so we're going to find out a lot more about this guy. I have some information here. Let's get to see who's here right now, and then we'll get into it. Daryl Adams, of course, first comment, as always. Rick, would Hughes still be an agent to players? If so, how would that work? No, he would not be. He's not an agent. He'll have to leave his company for now. Obviously, the company will still be there and still running, and if things turn sour here and he'll go back. But no, he won't be part of his company for now or managing players that way. That would be a horrible conflict of interest, and it couldn't happen. Hey, Julie, how's it going? Habs Guru, Bob Cannon, Andrew. I'm excited about Montreal's new management, seeing how Gorton molded New York Rangers. Yeah, management group is taking place. I expect within, give them a week or so. Imagine we're going to have an announcement on an AGM, which is assistant general manager, and a director of scouting has to be put in place. And I think that it'll all come into place. I think this is a really good hire. First of all, they're friends, which, you could say maybe he's hiring a yes man. I don't think so. I think the fact that they're friends, he knows him. He knows what he's going to get from him. He knows that, he's what he's looking for. They probably have a friendship where they don't always agree with each other and stuff like that. So I think this is going to be really good. Gorton, don't forget, Gorton is there. Whatever Hughes is lacking in knowledge of being a GM, well, Gorton takes care of that. He's going to be negotiating contracts, all kinds of stuff. Plus, Hughes was a hockey player, not an NHL player, but he was a good college hockey player. And his youngest son, oddly named Jack Hughes, is expected to possibly go in the first round of this draft upcoming. So that's funny right there. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So, and there's a huge tie to Jordan Harris. That he coached Kent Hughes coached Jordan Harris when he was in some very junior league. I'm not sure, but he was his coach for a season or more. So there's a tie there. There's a lot of things working out here that I think will be very good for Montreal. So, and I'm not gonna, the guy is from Montreal. He's from Beaconsfield, just down the road here. He is fully bilingual. fully bilingual. He's exactly what they've asked for, somebody who can speak in their language to them so they can understand. Like, we don't understand when they're speaking French and all that stuff. For me, anyway, if I'm not fully bilingual. And that's delivered. And I think the bulk of French Habs fans are fine with this. Don't give a shit about what language he's or where he's from or what his name is. But, there's going to be some that's, and in the media. That's what I'm expecting. I've said it for a while, and it seems to be playing out. Okay, enough on that garbage. There's a few more things here. So let's see. What I like about the new GM, he most likely took a pay cut going from a player agent to a GM. I don't know about that. He's got to be probably going to make a couple million at least as a GM. It's got to be similar, right? I don't know that he took a pay cut. Sam Beckett, Hughes in talks with Andre Rasko to replace TD. I knew Andre Rasko's name was going to come up. You got to figure though, right? This gives them a lot more pressure, and I hope they don't bow to this pressure. But you got to think there's going to be a lot more pressure for the next coach to have a French name, because that's going to make all the difference in the world, right? If he has a French name or not. So, yeah. So, okay. So let's get to some of the stuff that I've got for you. Nice people. By the way, the channel hit 3,000. I'm right at 3,000. So I don't want to make a big celebration yet because it could drop under. Someone, in the next little while, I'm gonna do a live stream to celebrate it. But I want to make sure it held because you never know. But it hit 3,000 finally. So that it's been a weird day. All right, so a little bit about our new GM. How about we go for that? So he's a native of Montreal. Played 4 seasons in the NCAA at Middlebury College from 88 to 92. Holds the school record for assists, 140, and points, 194 in a career, and most assists, 48, and most points, 63 in a season. Middlebury was a winning team, 65, 13, and 2 while during his final 3 seasons. And they won a national championship in 91. He's inducted into the Middlebury College Sports Hall of Fame. So, I mean, that's as far as he's gotten, right? I mean, he didn't get higher than that. His brother Ryan was a second-round pick of the Quebec Nordiques in the 1990 draft. And he played 3 NHL games for the Bruins. So, not a ton there, obviously. Kent's son, Riley Hughes, was drafted by the Rangers in the 7th round, 216th overall of the 2018 draft. He's with Northeastern, and his other son, Jack, is a freshman at Northeastern, and he's ranked number 7 among North American skaters in NHL Central Scouting Service's midterm rankings for the next draft. He's the agent to, or has been, or he was to Vinny Lecavalier, and Lecavalier now I'm hearing his name mentioned for some kind of a job with the Montreal Canadiens. Funny, he wouldn't sign here when he had the chance, but now come and work here. But I'll just say that. So Lecavalier may be coming here in some form. His clients include Patrice Bergeron of the Bruins, who's a free agent next year. Sammy Blais of the Rangers, Chris Letang of the Penguins, who's a free agent next year. Anthony Beauvillier, Darnell Nurse, like that. So there's that. And by the numbers. Ray, stop barking now. Bad timing. 51. He's 51 years old. He played 4 seasons in college. We went through that. Prior to embarking on his college career, he spent the 86-87 campaign with the under-18 AAA Lac St. Louis Lions, scoring 54 points. 22. What's 22? His brother was 22nd overall in the draft in 1990, and his 2 sons. So we covered all that. So there you go. That's our new GM. I'm sure a lot more will come out about him. We'll get to know him. He's got a press conference. Molson, Gordon, and Hughes will have a press conference tomorrow, I think in the morning, but I don't know the time. Carey Price update. There's a Carey Price update, and, not great or anything. Carey Price will have to restart rehab on a surgically repaired knee. The Habs said on Monday there's no timetable for his return. They had said originally when he started to rehab in the first place that it would take 10 to 12 weeks. So if you do that, that's 2.5 to 3 months. He's not coming back this season, more than likely. So, or right at the end, and that might mean if he does come back, that you might be an indication that he'll be moved. Let's see. They're saying it's not a setback, but they were not able to use the weeks during the break to take a step forward, so they took a step backward. So basically, it sounds like an excuse or not. I don't know, but Carey Price, you don't have to ask me if I've heard anything. He ain't back for a while. Injury updates. There's some interesting ones, and I don't know if there's one or two that aren't on there. So Jake Allen had an MRI on Monday. The results won't be in for a day or two, so he'll be out at least 1 week, maybe longer. Paul Byron, who I expected to already be back with the team, apparently he should be back with the team by the end of this road trip. So maybe Monday in Minnesota. Doesn't mean he'll be playing with them, but he'll be back practicing with them, I guess. At Joel Edmondson, basically like Carey Price, he's back in Montreal, and there's no timetable for him to resume skating even with the team. So who knows if he'll play this year. Brendan Gallagher, he's skating at the practice rink, and he's going to be 1 or 2 more weeks. And Matthew Perreault, well, who knows when he'll be back. If he'll be back, does it really matter? So the interesting thing is 2 things. Yoel Armia and Cole Caulfield have been added to the COVID list. So there was nobody on the Habs team on COVID list, and that COVID list said, oh, yeah, guess what? I'm lonely here. So they got Armia and Caulfield. So they'll be out for a bit. They both apparently tested positive. Apparently that's 3 times now for Armia and twice for Caulfield, having tested positive at least. So that means that Michael Pezzetta will be filling in for Armia. And for Caulfield, we're getting the return of Tyler Toffoli. So Toffoli will be back in the lineup tonight. So, necessary to get him to play. And if they're looking to trade him, get him going. And if they're looking to move him. All right, that's a lot. Let's see what you guys got to say, and then I'll do my preview. Player agent usually collects between 3 and 10% of his client's contract. Look, I'm sure he made good money, but I'm sure he's going to make good money as the Habs GM. So are the Habs drafting the GM son this summer? That's right. That's a question. Possibly if they get enough first-round picks, they might. I from what I saw, he's like rated to go to the top, like at the end of the first round into the second round, somewhere in there. So maybe they do, maybe they don't. Vinny wouldn't accept a trade here, not sign here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, I think he was a free agent when he went to Philadelphia. At the end of his career, wasn't he negotiating with Montreal? And maybe even the time before that, because he played for 3 teams overall. So as far as I know, it was a free agent thing. Or maybe it was a no trade clause that he wouldn't. I mean, I think it was a free agent thing, though. That's what it's in my head. But who knows if that means anything. Price won't play this year, maybe never for the Habs. Eric, I just think that he needs to play a little bit for a trade to happen, but you might be right. I mean, you might be right. Matt Norton, look at that, Matt Norton. I know that name. Where do I know that name from? Also, everybody say hi to Matt because Matt's again. Maybe he doesn't want me to say, but he's dealing with another COVID scare. So this time he thinks he feels like he might have COVID. So nothing to laugh at. I know I shouldn't be, but I'm sure everybody, Matt, by the way, is going to wish you well because, and hopefully it'll be a negative test anyway. He's waiting for results or waiting to go take a PC, whatever those tests we can't get here. Yeah, he's going to get one. So everybody wish him well. And we got the 3,000, and it's holding so far the 3,000 subs. So we'll see. Bye. Well, I was wrong. Thought it was going to be Darsh, but a great addition. Me too. Listen, I thought so too. But I did say, remember, if they name him, that's not going to be an easy sell on the name. And so far it looks like I'm right. If Montreal were to trade Toffoli, would Vancouver be a perfect fit? What would Montreal get in return? Couldn't tell you. Vancouver might not have the money for him. Like, I don't know. I mean, he's not expensive, but I mean, they might want him back. Yeah. What can we get in return? Well, we're not. I mean, I would think if they're rebuilding, they're not looking for, they're looking for draft picks and prospects. What I think. Excuse me. Hey, Chuck, how's it going? Babe, by Willie O'Ree number being retired in Boston. Yes, well-deserved and long overdue. Luca, Hughes is Bergeron's agent. Yep, Wright's favorite player is Bergeron. Habs currently in position to draft Wright. Bergeron free agent after this season. Coincidence? I think not. Except that, what kind of money are we looking at to pay Bergeron? That's the only reason I don't really see it, right? Do you really want to pay a guy that much? But listen, if you're bringing a guy like Bergeron, as far as a mentor for Suzuki and whoever else is going to, like Wright, would be, I guess, kind of good. And yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. So you're waiting for the results. So you had the test. So awesome. Fingers crossed for you, buddy. Seriously. And stop getting these scares like this. Seriously, this is like the fourth time Matt's had this scare. So not fun. Okay, let's get to preview time. Game preview. The game tonight is Montreal Canadiens at the Dallas Stars. Montreal is 7-25-5, 19 points, 8th in the Atlantic, and 32nd in the league. Dallas Stars 18-15-2, 38 points, 6th in the Central. How to watch this game. Start time is 8:30 p.m. tonight, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. That's 8:30 Eastern, by the way. In the Canadiens region, TSN2 in English, RDS in French. In the Stars region, Bally Sports Southwest. Streaming, ESPN Plus, NHL Live, RDS Direct, TSN Direct, and Sports Surge, where I watch it. Betting lines for tonight. The spread, Montreal's plus 1.5 gives you minus 105. Dallas is minus 1.5 and gives you minus 115. Money line for Montreal plus 110. For Dallas, minus 265. Over-under is 5.5. If you take the over, it's minus 105. And the under, minus 115. Last 10 games for these two teams. I don't know how long it's been, but Montreal is 1-7-2 for like a while. And they keep losing, so I wonder when they had that one streak. They're on one game losing streak, but the other one, they were overtime loss. That's not the same thing as a losing, as a loss. So it's not like they won the last game or the game before. Dallas is 5-5-0, and they're on a 2-game losing streak. Tail of the tape. Scoring chances for percentage, 46.4 for Montreal, 24th. 52.1% for Dallas, 17th. 2.08 goals per game for Montreal, 32nd. 2.77 goals per game for Dallas, 23rd. Goals against per game, 3.68 for Montreal, 31st. 3.00 for Dallas, 18th. Power play percentage, 11.6%, 32nd. I mean, 11.6%, that's like lofty numbers these days for Montreal. 25.5% for Dallas, 6th. That's a good power play, so careful. PK percentage, 74% for Montreal, 28th. 77.6% for Dallas, 25th. Head-to-head record, last time they were able to play was in 2019-2020. 0-1-1 is Montreal's record, and 2-0-0 the Stars. Face-off percentage, 47.5% for Montreal, 27th, and 54.6% for Dallas, 2nd in the league. Challenge on the face-offs. Players to watch. Last 5 games on the Montreal side. Jonathan Drouin, 3 points. Rem Pitlick, 2 goals. Jonathan Drouin, 2 assists. And Sami Niku is even. He's not in the game, so maybe that's why he's able to stay even. On the Dallas side, Joe Pavelski. So points, 8, goals, 3, assists, 5. And Suter, I don't know his first name. Is that Ryan Suter? Plus 3. Goalies tonight. Tonight's goalie for the Habs is Montembeault, 1-6-3 record, 3.78 goals against, and an 8.97 save percentage. I did see a stat when he comes in the third period. to whatever you call that, to come in the third period and take over. His save percentage is something like .956, so he's done a good job that way. Oops, maybe go back to that. Ottinger, I think, is going to be the starter tonight. 9-3-0 record, 247 goals against, .915 save percentage, no shutouts. Team leaders, and still for goals and points, Nick Suzuki with 7 goals and 19 points, and it's been a month. Still without a picture, Ben Sherratt for the average time on ice, 23-27. And once again, still for a month, Jake Allen with 5 wins. On the Dallas side, goals, Roop Heinz, 15 goals. Joe Pavelski, 36 points. Miro Heiskanen, time on ice, 24-27. And for wins, Jake Ottinger, 9. And he's same like Sherratt. They lost his picture. Current line, Montreal is on the road, so their away record is 2-15-4. Dallas at home is 14-3-1. Record versus the spread, 14-23-0 for Montreal, 16-19-0 for Dallas. Record versus over-under, 18-18-1 for Montreal, 13-22-0 for Dallas. Versus each other, I did that 0-1-1 and 2-0-0. Last 10 games versus spread, 3-7-0 for Montreal. Whoop, that's changed, first time in a while. 5-5-0 for Dallas. Last 10 games versus over-under, 4-5-1 for Montreal, 5-5-0 for Dallas. Bottom 5 in the league, Montreal with some separation now from Arizona, 3 points difference. You got Buffalo, Seattle, Ottawa, Arizona, and bringing up the rear, Montreal. Okay, here's the Habs lineup for tonight. Suzuki centering Hoffman and Anderson. Dvorak centering Pitlick and Drouin. Evans in between Lehkonen and Cedric Paquette. And Ryan Poehling centering Laurent Dauphin and Michael Pezzetta. Romanov and Petrie paired up in the first pair. Sherratt-Savard, second pair. Kulak-Weidman on the third pair. Montembeault starting. Niku scratched. Jake Allen out with lower body injury. Brendan Gallagher, lower body. Tyler Toffoli, guess what? Tyler Toffoli is actually going to be probably in that Cedric Paquette spot. Remember I said he's going to be in the lineup, and I just heard Dom Ducharme with his pre-game press conference just before I got on this show. So he had said that Tyler Toffoli's in the lineup. So Paquette's out. Get him out of there. Matthew Perreault still out undisclosed, and Edmondson undisclosed. Supposed to be his back on the COVID protocol. Armia and Caulfield. For the Stars, Heinz centering Peterson and Pavelski. Ben in between Guryanov and Seguin. Faxa in between Raffle and Glendening. And Damiani in between Gardner and Kiviranta. Lindell and Klingberg, first pair. Suter and Heiskanen, second pair. Hanley and Hakanpää as the third pair. Ettinger starting. No scratches. Injured Jason Robertson, lower body and on protocol. Radulov, Sekera, and Tanner Kiro, something like that. And there you go, you ladies and gentlemen. There is your preview. All right, let's see who's here. And what did I miss? Hey, Bob, don't worry about it. I hope you had a good dinner. That was quick, too. Theo Blacksmith, I've been following your channel for a while. Friendly community. Everything Habs, all love. Been a young fan since the Bergevin era. It's weird hearing that, the Bergevin era. So looking forward to being a fan forevermore. Awesome, Theo. Thanks for being here, and really happy to have you here. And now it's the new era. Now we're in the Kent Hughes era. How long before if they're doing bad and people aren't happy, before his name Kent gets changed to something that I'm not going to say here? And I saw it, very interesting. French people with a heavy accent when they talk English, I'm interested to see how they pronounce his last name, the new GM. These are the things in Quebec you have fun with. Bergeron would be a great mentor, Eric, especially for, for Suzuki for sure. And we do get Shane Wright. If we do, it's a big if. It's definitely his idol, from what I understand. Depends on who leaves and what is left in salary cap for we're able to sign Bergevin. Yeah. Quinn, hey Quinn. This is another point, right? It's not a retread. They've gone in a new direction. Like he said, he kept his word, didn't bring in a retread of something. Yeah, I like that. I like that we're, anybody now who thinks we're going to bring in like a Terrien or Alavino back or anything like that. No, I fully expect to see the coach be somebody maybe we're not expecting or we might not have had on our radar or something like that. So I'm very interested to see where they go with that. So we'll see. But considering, listen, you know what? It's a bit of a risk here for them hiring Hughes, only in that, in the name. If that is a backlash, if there's a backlash, which there will be to some extent, I hope it's just really small, like right now at the beginning, and then it just dies down and that's it. But if there's a really big backlash, I mean, it's a risk in some ways, I guess. But I like it. I like the hire, and it's not because he's English. He's a Quebecois, man. Dallas 4-1. Who cares who scores? Well, yeah, it doesn't matter here anyway because oh no, you're right. You're in the right spot for that. Sorry, forgot where it was. Rick, any news on Francophone reaction to Hughes? Yeah. So far, it's you know what I think. I think the everyday fan doesn't really care. But there's been some stupid comments about it. I just hope that dies down and it's. But yeah, I mean, it's like it's gonna Quebec's gonna show their real face, sort of. Did they really care that somebody's speaking to them in French, or do they care that the person speaking to them in French also has the right name for them? We'll see. Hey Kelly, how's it going? I'm doing pretty good. Did you get me anything at the grocery store? God, I miss Radulov. He's in COVID. Shrimp burritos. Sounds pretty damn good, man. Hey, Randy. I heard that the Quebec media is not too happy about Hughes hiring. Is it because he is not Quebecois? Well, he is Quebecois. I'm glad that this irks the Quebec media and such. It's not because he's not Quebecois, because he is. It's not that he doesn't speak French, because he does. It's just that it's not, his last name's not Huguet. It's Hughes. If it was Kent Huguet, he'd probably do fine. But it's Kent Hughes, and that doesn't go. I just can't think of what Hughes would be in French. So I think the press conference tomorrow will shed more light on the precise role that Hughes will have working as the GM. Yeah, I don't know about a precise. Listen, Gordon kind of already said he wouldn't take the GM job if he didn't have, control to do what he can, the freedom to do what he's going to do. So you got to expect that Hughes will have, some freedom and make some decisions and have some, GM power. And I don't know that we'll know exactly what the level of that is. They'll know behind closed doors. That's my expectation. Habs Guru, just don't see Bergeron signing here. He's only played for Boston, and the rivalry was pretty good over his career. I mean, that's a really good point, right? I mean, that's a really good point. And he may not want to do that, right? I can see that. And he might not want any of that pressure of being a French player here in Montreal. Well, they'll say Ken is, I know, but I mean, is there a French equivalent to Hughes in French? Like, I don't know. That's what I mean. Yeah, Hughes is not only from Montreal. He's from like let's see, two towns over from me. He's just down the road here, where he grew up. Well, that's what I said, Randy. Kent Huguet. It's the only thing I can think of. So if his name was Huguet, we wouldn't have heard anything about it. But it's not. So anyway, I don't want to make more of it than needs to be made because it's just ridiculous. And Yeah, I'm happy. You're making me chocolate chip cookies before the game. How are you going to get them here before the game, though? That's the problem. Sounds good. I can't see Bergeron or any Bruins signing here, to be honest. Yeah, listen, Bob. I don't think I don't see Bergeron. I don't see Chris Letang. Like I don't see why. Why would we sign players like that to big money in a rebuild? Like Bergeron, I can kind of see because the guys that are here in Suzuki, and then if we do get, well, he's not here yet. If we did get Shane Wright, you could see how that dynamic could play out. But yeah, I don't see it personally either. Randy, no, I don't. I really don't, and I don't know what would have to happen for him to stay here, unless they're really thinking, listen, we're tanking, we're going after Bedard, we need to keep this guy here for that. If that's the case, I guess. Other than that, nah, I don't see it. Bay Boy, but that's been for a long time, right? I mean, I'm not gonna listen. You know what? I'm not gonna French bash anybody at all tonight. Or why should I? Because I'm not against French people. I just don't like. What's the word for this? Misogyny? Is it misogyny? I'm not sure if that's the right word. I don't want to say racism. It's not racism because we're the same race, but it's prejudice, and I just hope it doesn't. I can see the initial, a week or two where and then that just dies down, and the guy gets on with the job, and that's it. And if that happens, that's cool. If it lasts longer and it lasts, a couple of years, and it's not going to be cool. But I had said it that I think it's it's a tough sell. It's a really I live here. I've lived here almost my whole life. If anybody understands what I was talking about, if you have an English name and you've lived here your whole life and you've seen the change from before 76 to after 1976, yeah, I mean, this should be no surprise that this is going on. And everybody who said, nah, that won't happen, Rick. Yeah, it happened. He negotiated his own contract. Well, he's going to be negotiating contracts. Why would he need an agent? I guess I should have put that. He signed for 5 seasons, right? So Kent Hughes is here for a 5-year contract. I don't want to hear down the road, it's a 5-year plan. It's not. He's got a 5-year contract. And unless he says specifically in his press conference, we have a 5-year plan, I don't want to hear that anymore. We did with Bergevin, because even with Bergevin, apparently that never happened. He never said 5-year plan, but it was a big thing. So I don't want to hear that with this guy, because we're at ground level, ground floor right now. So we know it's not a 5-year plan. It's a 5-year contract. Yeah, Bob, unless Hughes wants him here, and I would imagine he might be able to talk him into doing it because he's his agent for a long time. I don't know, but I don't see it happening. You're the second part there, right? Why are we bringing in? We wouldn't bring in a lot of vets because we want to be developing players, and I think there's a good point I heard. This guy knows about what the need of developing. He's a player agent. He knows how, he wants his players to be developed. He has maybe a better, what's the word I'm looking for? He'll do a better job at developing players because, he's not old school. He's not, you know what I mean? And player development is going to be key here going forward. So, the difference I see, Randy, with Edmonton's thing is what Montreal's doing is kind of really going in a different direction, right? You might say Gorton's not really that outside the box, but he brought in somebody that they're looking to go in a new direction. Edmonton didn't do that. They've gone old school all the way pretty much, or they wouldn't have hired Ken Holland, I don't think, really. So I think that's the big difference. It's a modern NHL. It's a modern NHL player. You gotta go forward with that and change. Hey, Enertap, 10 years is the new 5-year plan. Well, Hughes has he knows how to relate to players differently than an old school GM. It's got to be another reason why they want to maybe go after player agent, right? Because they understand it's a different player today than it was. You got to handle them differently. That's just how it is. What I see here is, though, Montreal finally breaking from the mold and just doing it differently instead of trying to do the same goddamn thing over and over and over again, expecting something different to happen. Right? If you're expecting something different to happen, well, guess what? They're doing something different to make that happen. That's where you got to start with. That's how I'm looking at it. By the way, give a thumbs up if you're having a good time. I appreciate that. And hey, consider subscribing, although you might, if you're talking and you're new, you might have to do that. I don't know how I have it set. But yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier, Enertap. You know what else I thought really funny? I thought of this earlier today. Okay, so Kent Hughes has a son, Jack Hughes, who's in the draft this year. Just thinking that if Montreal drafts him, because apparently he's a legit late first round, early second round pick. So say they do draft him, he makes the team, and then he's playing on a line with Cole Caulfield. And guess what? Cole Caulfield back playing with Jack Hughes. He's not the same guy, but I just thought that was pretty funny. And I think Matt was saying earlier to me that it's funny the setup. Jeff Gorton, Massachusetts guy, born in Boston area guy. Kent Hughes, Montreal guy, and now they've sort of partnered up and they're going to move this forward. And here we are on my channel, Matt from Massachusetts, me from Montreal, and we kind of got the same kind of setup. Except the Montreal guy this time is the older guy with the that's the only difference. But it's funny anyway. Situation is what it is. But I think it's funny with the Caulfield that Caulfield might still get back to playing with Jack Hughes. And when I saw that, because I saw that earlier today, Jack Hughes, I went, no, he's not Jack Hughes' dad, is he really? And I went and looked, and it goes, he's up for the draft in 2022. Well, he can't be Jack Hughes. This had me confused, so I had to look up his hair, his everything with his kids. Yeah. The key will be who they hire for Timmins' job. The draft is where teams are made or not. Well, yeah, it's going to be very important who they bring in as the director of scouting. Look, without a doubt. But don't expect a retreaded scouting director. Sure, they're going to go in a similar direction of getting somebody who fits the mold of what they're doing. So I wouldn't hold Montreal's drafting record over the last 10, 20 years, 30 years, if you want to go back that far, to these new guys, because they're going to be going in a different direction. It's a new group of guys, a new group of men, and they're going to, they're going to do what they do. And I wouldn't hold, Montreal, they're horrible at drafting. Well, guess what? They revamped everything. So you can't really say that now going forward. Let's see what they can do going forward, right? I'm hoping for good. I have no idea who they might bring in. there's been no kind of I haven't really seen any rumors about who might come in for the scouting director job. Even better if you're talking about take a membership. Hey, I agree with that. If you want to take a membership, you hit the join button and it tells you everything there. Memberships start as low as $1.99. And if he's not talking about for this site, no, I can take oops, never mind. No, I never don't. Yeah, take a membership. I'm starting to. I've been. I guess I had an idea that this would happen today, so I was up at. I think since 7:30, I've been kind of sitting here. I was expecting some kind of announcement till it happened around 10. So been a bit of a whirlwind, long day. And then tomorrow's the press conference, so that should be pretty interesting. I should be doing a video on that. See what he has to say. AH2O, yeah, all's good. All's good. Hope the same for you. We hit the magical 3,000 mark. At least I hope still. And you never know, could change. It goes up and down, so. But we finally hit it, so. Hughes is a fresh face and someone you wouldn't really expect, but hey, Gordon still runs the show. I think to an extent, yes, but he did say that he wouldn't take the job of the GM here under him if he didn't have a GM's power. So you got to think that Hughes will have some power to do some things, I would think. So, but it's funny, imagine if Hughes hears that. He's 51 years old. So imagine I'm a fresh face at 51. Awesome. And thanks, buddy. Thanks for the congrats. I appreciate that. Who do you see sticking around longer in Montreal between Gordon and Hughes? But yeah, come on. Hughes hasn't even showed up well, I don't know if he's come back to Montreal yet. You want to see? You're asking me how long he's going to be here. Like, really? No, not yet. Let him do some stuff here before we start wondering when he's going to be leaving. James, yeah, that's another thing, right? He's the 18th general manager in the history of the Montreal Canadiens, and they announced him on January 18. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. My day's going pretty good, James. How about yours? Yeah, my day's pretty good. Can't complain. Been busy, but busy and not at the same time. Hughes completes Gordon. He completes me. Their expertise is different, but equally important, covering all bases. That's and you know what? It's what he said he wanted to do when he had his press conference, Gordon, when he was hired. So, yeah, here's a guy that just said, "Here, this is what I want to do," and he's starting to do it. So, yeah, I'm excited. Here's a question: what kind of Habs team we see tonight? Do we see this news of the hiring of the new GM affect the team? They have a little bit more jump in their step. What do you think is going to happen tonight? Eric M., way too early, I think, to try to figure out who they'll go for to coach. I think it'll be somebody we could talk about, a bunch of different guys. I don't think it'll be anybody that we're probably thinking of right now anyway. And, yeah, it's a little early. Let the retool begin. Yeah, I know. You think it's going to be a retool. It is a rebuild. A full rebuild is about to hit us. So everybody better get ready for it because it's a coming. $4.99 is a better deal. Well, better for me. I'll be honest. I haven't delivered a ton for although for membership, it's not a lot that you have to do, but whatever anybody's comfortable with, that's what I say. And I have to update my membership, what you get for it. I really have to do that. Who will be the assistant for Kent? Don't really know. I'm kind of leaning towards. I said I think one of the women that they interviewed will get that. I'm still leaning towards that. But might not happen. But I don't really know right now. Anyway, Gorton v. Hughes in the longevity pool. Why would we be saying that? But why? Like, why do that? Always the GM outlasts a coach, but he's not. Neither of those two are a coach. Gordon's not a coach, and Hughes not. No, Bob. Renault says he bets Dom is back to start next season. I think there's just the slightest chance of that. I mean, I really think it's slight. I personally think April 30th, which is the day after the last game of the season, they're announcing that Dom's been let go. That's my personal, and you want to get a new coach in there so that he's ready and up and running and at full speed by the time that draft happens. Because you want your next coach to be, helping make those decisions with the at the draft. In my opinion. Kelly, I used to listen to that stuff all the time. I don't listen to them very much these days. Entertap, yeah, you might be right, but and it doesn't mean that they're going to win. I just think there's going to be a better look to them. Like you know how a lot of people are complaining how they look kind of lazy at times out there. I think we might see maybe that just a little more jump to their step, and then maybe not. I mean, I don't know. I think there will be. You know what? I'll tell you the truth. Even if they don't trade Price or can't trade Price right now or in the off season, still think the rebuild's on. Why? Because a rebuild is not going to happen in one trade deadline or one off season. It's going to happen over 2-3 years. So they'll have plenty of time to move Patrick Roy. I said it again. You know how many times I've said Patrick Roy for Carey Price? Numerous. So they'll have plenty of time to move Price. So I don't think that means anything. And why are you bringing Gorton if you're not rebuilding? You're not bringing Gorton in for a retool. I don't believe that. Unless that's what they announce, I don't believe that. Would I put Ron as the new coach for next year? Nope. They're going to let Dom go, but they will be classy about it and will warn him about the door so it don't hit his ass on the way out. Hey, Elio. Oh, you don't have to be sorry to say that. I think we're all pretty much saying that. So no worries there. Okay, on this note, so I'm not sure what would be good for Baybye, but I'm going to take off because, yeah. So I'm back at 8:30 for the game. Game is at 8:30 tonight. Also, don't forget Thursday where the team is in Vegas. So it's a late start. So just so you prepare, it is a 10 o'clock start on Thursday. I'm not looking forward to that. I don't like those late starts, but that's what we've got. And then on Saturday, they're back to a regular time in Colorado at 7. So that's upcoming this week. I'll be back in 40 minutes. In 40 minutes to bring you the Dallas Stars hosting the Montreal Canadiens. And thanks everybody for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you shortly. So stay safe out there till then, as always, and peace out, everybody. See you in a bit. Bye, everybody.